My peoples, my peoples. What's the deal, fellas? Good morning, everybody tuning in. Nebraska Rug in the building from the main streets of North Omaha, Nebraska, the home of the face of boxing. Toy Mafia, Timmy T on lace. My peoples, what's the deal, man? I had to come back, man. A lot of people's feelings was hurt due to this morning's episode of Boxing for Breakfast. A lot of people got emotional um, based off of my prediction. And look, fellas, you have to understand that I simply make an assessment and I predict what's going to happen based off of that. Um, so, good morning, everyone. Y'all already know who this is. I'm JSmiff. Another episode of Box Center, your favorite boxers' favorite boxing show. Bruce, guys, boxing, jazz, and more. Salute, my brother. Nebraska Raw, emotional. Yo, people was emotional. They don't want to really accept the situation as is. And I say emotional because right now we know that Tank Davis is dealing with a legal situation. Most of us already heard about the possibility that this fight might get canceled. So there's, Tank Davis fans that are like, no, you can't be talking about this because there ain't no proof. He ain't been found guilty. You got no business talking about it. I'm like, God damn, people want everybody to sweep stuff under the rug these days. And it's like, nah, bro. Like, think about it, you guys that are on the live right now. If you at home are involved in something like what Tank is involved with now, you think your next door neighbor, your family member, the people who went to school with you think everybody who knows you is not gonna talk about it? You think they just gonna keep it quiet? Nah. People's gonna bring it up. So imagine if you spent all these days talking about Tank is gonna get the bag, Tank is gonna get the bag, and now this fight potentially getting canceled. What, you don't want nobody to talk about it? You feeling like you're gonna look goofy as hell because you was talking about you was counting Tank Davis money? Like, yo, the Tank Davis pocket watchers, I think they more hurt than Tank if this fight get called. Braskarog, hey yo, dead ass though. Tank pass precedes him. And look, Braskarog, it's what I've been trying to tell people. Think about Jake Paul and try to think about what is the biggest controversy that Jake Paul has ever been involved in. What is the biggest situation that you can even think of Jake Paul? Bro, the worst thing, the biggest thing Jake Paul been involved in is when he snatched that hat from Floyd Mayweather. That's the most violent outburst Jake Paul has ever had that we know of. Snatching a hat from Floyd. That's it. This guy came up in the Mickey Mouse Club, bro. From the Mickey Mouse Club, he became a super popular YouTuber. We have to remember Jake Paul's background. This guy's never been involved in no type of controversy. This guy's never been involved in nothing. We have to understand that. So a guy like Jake Paul, he don't want to be associated with nothing like that situation. Jake Paul don't want nothing to do with that type of situation. Young Guns, Tank the face of boxing, bringing in those views. Notice anytime Tank gets in trouble, it's gonna be Tank playing chess. Oh my God, I feel bad, man. I feel bad. Like Young Guns, yeah, I don't even realize it, but when you do that, you embarrass yourself. Tank Davis fans, you guys to the point where you prefer to embarrass yourself than to understand what's actually happening in real life. Y'all watching too many movies, and those movies are influencing you. And then you say stuff that I don't know if you actually believe it, but you're embarrassing yourself. Thank God that you don't use your real name behind this chat, bro, because it's embarrassing that somebody could say that. My peoples, let me grab a glass of water right quick. I'm going to rehydrate, but get ready, man, because this is going to turn into a cooking show over here. I'll be right back, y'all. My peoples. My peoples. We back in the building, y'all. On Lace. It's Tank. It's bigger. Tank is bigger. Thank Jake Paul. Netflix don't want that attention. No, listen. Netflix definitely doesn't want that type of action. For sure. And it's like I told you, the same thing with Jake Paul. This guy came up with the Mickey Mouse Club. This guy, and after the Mickey Mouse Club, funny, cool riding bicycle and goofy YouTube video for kids. And now he got MVP boxing, my peoples, which is literally built on women's boxing. Women world champions. You think Jake Paul wants somebody to ask him in a press conference, oh, Jake, what do you think about this situation with Tank Davis? You think he want to answer those type of questions? Or you think he want his fighters? Imagine Amanda Serrano at a press conference and somebody, hey, Amanda, what do you think about your boss gonna fight somebody who got those allegations on him? You think they want that type of action? No, my peoples. They don't want it. I've seen this before a bunch of times. When a fighter is in a situation like what Tank is in right now, big companies and sponsors and all that, they disassociate themselves. They don't want nothing to do with that. And we've been hearing reports or seeing reports that Jake Paul already made an offer to Ryan Garcia to be the replacement for Tank. Bro, if they're already looking for a replacement, that tells you everything you need to know right there. Right there tell you everything you need to know, because this fight was supposed to happen in a couple of weeks. Remember, my peoples, we already in November 1st. This fight was going down mid-November. Brascarell put hands on foots on females ain't chest, my G. I mean, you know, it's like I told you, man. Some Tank Davis fans, they go to the extremist of the extremist levels to defend them. Yesterday, I had a Tank of Maniac tell me, you know what, if it's true, you don't even know he had a good reason then. It's like, God damn, bro, you're just gonna justify and defend no matter what. And at this point, we have to understand, number one, it's a civil case. So there is no possibility of Tank going to jail. We gotta understand that. It's a civil case. Tank ain't going to jail. If he's found liable, he's gonna have to pay money. That's it right there. But what's gonna happen with Jake Paul should he decide to cancel this fight? Because I'm telling you, my peoples, Jake Paul's a guy who's never been involved with controversy. This guy came up in the Mickey Mouse Club. Then, you know, a popular YouTuber. Jake Paul's biggest controversy is when he pulled that hat off of Floyd Mayweather's head. That's it. Listen, that's his biggest controversy right there. So I'm telling you, my peoples, Jake Paul, Netflix, they don't want this action. They don't want to have to answer about no Tank Davis controversy. They don't want to answer questions about whether or not Tank Davis did hit some girl, kidnapped her. No, they don't want to hear that. They're going to pull away and completely disassociate themselves. Bruce Guys boxing. Jake originally got into boxing to launder money. He found out he could make more money from boxing and is now a boxer. I mean, when you say launder money, I have to disagree with you on that, my brother, because launder money, if you washing money, it suggests that you're making illegal money and you're washing it through boxing. So, you know, I don't know how you're making the connection with laundering money when Jake Paul is making money because people want to watch his sideshow. I would categorize it different, Bruce Guys boxing. I would say that Jake Paul found a lane in boxing. He carved a lane for himself. When he realized that a lot of the biggest fights wasn't being made, that the fans was frustrated over all of the fights that we don't get, he carved his own lane. That's it. He started off, did the little, boxing with YouTubers and with non-boxers to gain that experience, to see if people would tune in people did tune in, and he was like, "Whoa, that's it. We got a huge business right here going on. This what we're gonna get it at." So I don't see it as laundering money because I don't think there's anything illegal that he done. Brascarol, that's a slippery slope. I would cancel. That's me though. No hard feelings. And and that's what I'm saying though, Brascarol. If you have an image to maintain, if you're Jake Paul, came up in the Mickey Mouse Club, guy's never been in trouble, never had no controversy. Guy is literally the most important promoter for women boxing today. He's the guy that's paying the women the most. So taking that into consideration, of course he has no choice but to step away. You cannot be seen as somebody that's supporting Tank Davis right now when he's going through what he's going through. You can't. Look, you see Rascal Rock, how some Tank Davis fan may show up on the live and say, Tank didn't do it. Oh, the girl, she's lying. Oh, they... Yo, Jake Paul doesn't have the luxury of saying, nah, we still going to do this fight because that girl's probably lying. He can't do that. This guy built MVP promotions off of women's boxing. Off of women's boxing. That's why he built it off of. Oh, Raw Dog, try to change the subject real quick. Ask in the chat. Raw Dog, you been was gonna get blocked. Fuck out of here. Raw Dog, I was gonna block him. He's still quiet. He's been staying quiet. I've been waiting for that goofball to come back so I could block his dumb ass. Brascarol. Yo, and Raw Dog is mad funny because look, he tried to come in and right away change the conversation to something else because he a tankomaniac. Buatsi, what y'all think about Buatsi? Dummy. Timmy T. Jake has been training with the best stuff since 2017 and his first amateur fight was in 2018. That's pretty long time to do something. So, let me see something. Bam, bam. So, Jake Paul has not been boxing since 2017. That's cap. Okay. Jake Paul doesn't have any amateur experience. Those wasn't real fights. Jake Paul started boxing, if I'm not mistaken, like 5 years ago, like in 2020. So you're adding more time to his boxing. Okay, what you have to understand is that there was a time when Jake Paul was doing YouTuber stuff, and there was a time when he became a boxer. Even when he had his first fight, he had become a boxer. I mean, he started training with real boxers and taking it real serious after like his second or third YouTube fight that he decided, yo, there's a lane over here, this for me. Jake Paul been boxing for like 4 or 5 years. But, Timmy T, what you don't understand, this is what you don't understand. No, that's when Jake Paul had his first professional fight in 2020. Bro, but his first professional fight was against a YouTuber. What are you talking about? When Jake Paul got in the ring, with Nate Robinson, with all these people that wasn't boxers, he wasn't in the beginning taking it serious. He transitioned into serious training. But you're talking about his first amateur fight as if he was seriously taking amateur boxing. He wasn't. Hold on, my peoples. I'm going to grab me a glass of water, man. Give me a second. Timmy T. Jay has been training for boxing almost 10 years now. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Timmy T. I'm going to have to start ignoring you, dude. I'm going to have to start ignoring you. Now you want to take the Jake Paul route. This guy started boxing when he was a grown man and started actually training for real 4 or 5 years ago. He never was an athlete growing up, never did anything athletic growing up, never participated in sports growing up. He's never going to reach anything as a boxer. What are you trying to do, Timmy T? What? Like the guy lost to Tommy Fury, the only professional boxer he fought was Tommy Fury and he lost. What are you trying to do, Timmy T, out here? Like, what are you trying to convince us of? You got a point, okay, Jake Paul, according to you, been boxing for 8 years. What are you trying to prove, Timmy T? What is the point that you're getting at? Let us help me get there, because I don't know what you're trying to say by that. You keep saying that Jake Paul been training, that he been doing it for a long time. What are you trying to say, Timmy T? Help me get there. Land me where you going with this. Timmy T, I never say he was good. Okay, he been training for a long time, but what are you suggesting, bro? What is your point? Okay, he's been training a long time. Your point being, help me get there. You've been drilling on it real hard that he's been training. What is your point, Timmy T? What is you suggesting, my guy? I'm just trying to understand you. Timmy T, were you saying that Jake Paul has been training for 10 or 8 or whatever years? What is the point that you're getting at, my guy? Because you keep drilling on that. I'm like, no, it's been 7 or 8. You're like, no, he's been doing it for this many years. And he's amateur boxing. He did amateur boxing since 2018. What are you getting at, Timmy T? Help me understand your point. That's all I'm saying. I need to understand what is the point that you're trying to get at with that. Braskarov, Jake Testo, baby Paul. Like, everybody know that Jake Paul is not a serious boxer. Nobody take Jake Paul serious. So I don't know. But nobody's saying that you're arguing me, Timmy T. My point is, what the point is that you're trying to make? You keep drilling on something for nothing just because you want to keep drilling it? Because I don't understand you, bro. You're like, no, Jake Paul, 8 years. No, he amateur box. No, he got a lot of experience. Okay, so what is your point? What are you trying to say? Like, what? Kawhi Elliott, Timmy T. You meat mushing Jake. Stop the cap. But that's what I'm talking about. Timmy T spent 10 minutes. No, Jake Paul this, no, Jake Paul. Okay, so what is your point? Your point is that you keep repeating about what Jake Paul's done in boxing because you don't want to argue. Like, what is your point, Timmy T? Where exactly were you going with that? I'm trying to get it. Braskarov from Disney to WWE. But that's what I'm talking about, Braskarov. How goofy does it sound for somebody to keep repeating how long, according to them, Jake Paul's been boxing? Well, we all know the truth. We all know Jake Paul was a Mickey Mouse guy. We all know that Jake Paul was never involved in any sporting anything until he decided that he wanted to be a YouTuber boxer. And then from a YouTuber boxer, he transitioned into now he's a boxer, right? But there's nothing about Jake Paul. Like, what is the point of keep pushing it? No, he's done it for this much. No, he's done. Like, what, Timmy T, I'm still waiting to hear what was the point of you keep pressing on the time that Jake Paul has been boxing. Because you're saying you're not trying to argue. I'm not trying to argue either. I'm just trying to understand what is your point. And I keep asking you. You keep saying other stuff but not answering. Why do you keep saying that Jake Paul done it for a long time? And now Timmy T, my people went quiet. Welcome to the Black Party, Timmy T. I'm done with your dumb shit. You want to play dumb? Go play dumb in the Black Party. Boom. Goofball. That's how I do it, my peoples. They come playing that dumb shit. I ask them a couple of questions you can't answer. Go to the Black Party, dummy. Side. Now they say he might fight Ryan Garcia. No, my brother, I'm going to tell you like this. That's what I'm expecting to happen because they've already said that an offer was made to Ryan Garcia. So if an offer was already made, what does that tell you that they're trying to do? They're trying to move on from Tank Davis. Side or boot. I always give them cornballs to boot. They start saying a bunch of dumb shit, and then when you question them, oh, no, I wasn't trying to say that. Dummy. I ain't got time for your dumb shit. But again, my peoples, I think it's only simple logic. And I say that it's only simple logic because if you've seen it before, what happens when somebody's involved in controversy, companies pulling out, companies disassociating themselves, sponsors disassociating themselves, like, nah, we no longer do business with such and such. Man, I've seen that a million times. Netty Burnett, JSmiff, you're not growing your channel by blocking anybody with a difference of opinion. Oh, no, listen. I don't block people for a difference of opinion. I block people for playing dumb. You're not gonna come over here playing dumb with me. You wanna play dumb, you're gonna get blocked. I'm not thirsty for subscribers, bro. I'm not thirsty for none of that. If I didn't block the people that I block, I would have been over 3,000 subscribers, my guy. I'm not thirsty for subscribers. I'm not having the bullshit. That's the thing. I'm not having the bullshit. So anybody come with the bullshit, block party. I'll give you a couple of breaks. I'll give you a couple of chances. But eventually, I'm going to send your dumb ass to the block party with the dumb shit that you want to be saying. Because I want you to think about this, Nettie. I want you to think about this, my guy. That dummy over there goes on and said, well, you sleeping on him because Jake Paul been fighting boxing for over 10 years. And he boxed as an amateur. And he goes on with that rant for like 10 minutes. And I say, okay, you're saying that Jake Paul this, Jake Paul that. What's your point, my guy? What is your point? Because Jake Paul is not nice. What is your point? His response to that is, well, I'm not saying that Jake Paul's nice. Okay, so what is your point? Now he stays quiet. Stays quiet. He can't say why he's saying that about Jake over and over. So, Nettie, anybody who come up in here just saying stupid shit to try to formulate an argument with me, anybody come here and say some stupid shit just to try to get some attention, I'm going to block your ass because I don't got time for that. I don't got time for goofballs wasting my time. If I engage you, if you want to bring something up and you want to engage me and you want to ask me questions and I'm answering questions, when I ask you questions, you better be ready for that too. Don't engage me to then play dumb when I'm asking questions, because it's definitely getting blocked. Box Center is going to be a community of people who make coherent conversations, and we're going to have great conversations out here. Goofball like that, I don't need them. I don't want them over here. Side, we don't tolerate the bullshit over here. You know it, my G. Brascara, word. It's too much for my life. The BS is real. We ain't got time for that, man. Come on now. We ain't got time for that. Nettie Burnett, I think the Tank versus Jake fight is a circus. And it's reasonable to feel that way, Nat, because I myself said it. Being that it's an exhibition fight, and they trying to sell it as an exhibition fight, that is also going to be a real fight, because they're going to have judges that were going to score it, and somebody's hand was going to be raised at the end. So they're selling it as a real fight, but an exhibition fight. So to me, it's like, this is a circus show. I don't know if it's scripted. I don't know if it's going to be fake. I don't know. But they were saying that it's a real fight. So, and I said this yesterday. I said it the day before. I've been saying it for a few days. If it turned out that it was a real fight, Tank Davis beating him up. Tank Davis is beating him up. But based on the recent events that Tank is dealing with, I don't think we're going to get this fight, my people. I don't think so. I don't think Jake Paul want that action where reporters are going to be asking him, oh, what do you think about Tank Davis' situation? What do you think about the allegations of kidnapping and battery? You think Jake Paul wants to answer those type of questions, my peoples? Hell to the no. I'm here to tell you, Jake Paul, who ain't never been involved in no type of controversy, definitely does not want to be answering questions about Tank Davis legal issues. He don't. So that's why I expect for him to move on from this fight. And it looks like Tank Davis fumbled his bag, which was set to be, some people said 100 million, some people said 50, some people said 40. I don't even know how much money he was going to make. But Tank Davis was definitely going to earn the biggest payday of his career, and that's gone for now at least. That's it. Let's see. And the crazy thing is that all those fans that, you know, the pocket watching fans that are always talking about Tank make more money, Tank sell more pay-per-views, Tank does this and that. Those fans, they're the ones now that are like, oh, but there's no evidence that he did anything. Oh, but you hating on him. Why you talking about this? He ain't convicted. Like, man, shut the hell up. Shut your goofy ass up. Brascarov, quiet as a church mouse. Imagine, bro, you pocket watching Tank. You celebrating his biggest payday. You celebrating his 40 million like you was gonna get a cut. And it's like these people are more mad than Tank Davis that he lost that bag. Go get the money. Damn. Tank can't catch a break from these females, man. Tighten up. I don't know, bro. You talking about Tank can't catch a break from these females. Are you sure that it's him that can't catch a break? Or is it these females that can't catch a break from getting beat up by Tank? So it's all about perspective, bro. Now, right now, we don't have no proof. We don't have no evidence that he did anything wrong. But, yo, when these allegations keep landing on you, that's a bad look. Bad look, bro. Brascarov. Jake hasn't said ish, has he? That's how I know. That's how I know that this fight is going to get canceled, my people. Right there. If you go to Jake Paul's Instagram, you see this Tank being canceled stuff. It's all over social media. If you go to Jake Paul's IG, the last video on there is from like 3-4 days ago, where he was promoting the fight. But after that one, and after this whole shit went down, Jake Paul hasn't said a peep. Not one story, not one thing on his Instagram to say, hey, my people, the fight's still on, or we still gonna fight, or we support Tank. Nothing. Jake Paul is absolutely 100% quiet about this. So, guess what? Guess what? They already, apparently, right? Because I don't have proof of that. But apparently they already made an offer to Ryan Garcia. And if that's the case, that's the fight that's going to happen. That's it. Tank is out the loop. Keenan, yo, salute, fam. Kawhi Elliott, Jake team said 40 million. He would make more with Turkey. Tank has to be slow. Canelo got 150 million. Imagine what Turkey would give him. You don't understand. Turkey wasn't interested in Tank Davis fighting Jake Paul. So Kawhi Elliott, what you're saying it doesn't go with what Tank wanted, because Turkey would have gave him more, but he would have had to fight Shakur. He would have had to fight Teo. He would have had to fight Devin. You don't want to fight none of them people, bro. And Turkey's not going to pay you a dime to fight Jake Paul, an exhibition. You're not going to do that. Look at Boots. Boots wanted to do tune-ups, and what Turkey said? Oh, you want tune-ups? Go over there. Y'all do your thing over there, and when y'all ready for the big fights with the big dogs, come see me. So, my brother Kawhi, there's no chance that Turkey was going to give him no money for Tank versus Jake. He getting 40 mils from Jake Paul. He not getting a dime from Turkey for an exhibition show. Turkey don't want to hear that, my guy. So, we're talking about the biggest bag in Tank career potentially got fumbled. Potentially fumbled. Go get the money. You remember that comment Tank made in the press? If I was beating on females, don't you think females would be coming out saying I hit them? I mean, females been coming out saying that he hit them for the longest, bro. Like, how many females need to come out and say that he hit them? They've been coming out, my G. You just don't want to hear them, or you don't want to believe them. I don't know if you look the other way. I don't know what you be doing, bro. Kawhi Elliott, no, if I went to fight Core, if he went to fight Core or Devin, he could have got mad money. You're right, my brother, but what you don't understand is that he don't want to fight them dudes. He don't want to fight Shakur. He don't want to fight Devin. He don't want to fight Teofimo. He want an exhibition Jake Paul, where it doesn't count for the record, where nothing is going to change, where he's still going to be an undefeated fighter. You're talking about Kawhi Elliott, him putting that O on the line. That's not going to happen, my G. I already gave up hope on that one. Brascarov, Garcia versus Paul, social media boxing. So, I'm going to tell you like this. It's looking like Ryan Garcia is going to get this fight. Because if Jake Paul sent the offer already, I don't see him turning it down. at all. I could see him maybe saying, yo, nah, I need to get paid more than that. Give me this or give me, demanding for something. But I don't see him turning that fight down. So it's looking like we're going to get Jake Paul versus Ryan Garcia. And Ryan Garcia a pretty big kid. They might wait close to the same thing come exhibition show night. Go get the money. Tank knows he can't beat Shakur. He's not trying to fight Shakur, man. He know what's up. And it's not just Tank. I feel like Tank and his whole team know he can't beat Shakur. They all know. That's why we never saw that fight, and we probably never gonna see it. But I want you guys to think about this. I'm about to tell you, I need you to think about it. Tank Davis talking about retirement, right? He talking about retiring because he was about to get $40 million, right? But he probably not gonna get this $40 million anymore. So that means he might not retire like he thought he was. That might mean he might end up having to get in the ring with some of the big boys to get the big bags. My peoples, remember to subscribe to Box Center 2.0, my peoples. Subscribe to Box Center 2.0 for exclusive content. I've been dropping it on there already. You guys got to check it out. My peoples, let me take a 1-minute commercial break. I'll be right with you. My people, look, I'm going to tell you guys like this. John Pound, the title don't make no damn sense. Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis cancel over weight discrepancy. Oh, well, let me change it because in reality, that's just an image. It's not really, about the title at all. So let me change it. So, let me know, guys. Look. Here's the magic question. Is Tank Davis versus Jake Paul gonna happen in a couple of weeks? What do you guys think? You guys tell me. I gave you my opinion. I don't think this fight is gonna happen. That's my personal opinion. And I explain why. Jake Paul's a guy who's never been involved in no serious controversy, who's never been in the news for anything crazy. And I say that they're going to pull out of this fight simply because they don't want their name associated with any type of controversy like that. That's why I don't see it happening. I say, nah, they're going to pull out. They're going to disassociate themselves with Tank. They're going to be like, look, we don't know what happened over there. We hope that situation get resolved, but we don't know about that case. We're moving on to something else. And we support women, something like that. John Pound, Georgia accepted it, so why stop it now? I'm a little bit lost, bro. I guess he was responding to somebody. Kawhi Elliott, y'all do some kind of exercise an hour a day. Today makes 17 months cancer-free. Let's get it back on the hunt. Peace, King. Whoa, salute, brother, and congratulations. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen. Well, in this case, gentlemen and gentlemen. The whole Tank Davis and Jake Paul saga is going to be a main topic of conversation until we find out what is Jake Paul going to do? They're going to be talking about this every day. They're going to be posting about this every day. There's reporter that's waiting for Jake Paul, dying to ask him about this every day. And he knows it. So guess what? Before Jake Paul show his face in front of a camera and have to answer about Tank Davis, I'm telling you, they're in overdrive, trying to make something else happen. It might be with Ryan Garcia, like we're hearing. And if it is with Ryan Garcia, as soon as they sign contracts, Jake Paul's going to make an announcement. Oh, look, we're moving away from that situation. We support women. We don't know what happened over there. But over here, we're moving on, and we're going to be with Ryan Garcia. We will not be answering no further questions about that situation over there. It's going to be something like that. Watch. John Parham, I still think the fight goes on. Too much money on the line unless they find a great replacement. I heard tickets wasn't selling anyway, so it's the excuse for Jake to pull the plug. Look, if they already reached out to Ryan Garcia, that's a huge, huge fight. It's still on Netflix. That's it. Look, I feel almost sure that Ryan Garcia is going to be the replacement. Because if the reports are accurate, and they made him an offer, I don't see him turning it down. Him and Jake Paul have already gone back and forth on social media. They're familiar with each other. Just listen, this is what people thought was going to be Tank Davis's bag. It's about to be transferred over to a Ryan Garcia bag. Now, here's something that I'm wondering, John Parham. You see how people were celebrating Tank Davis for getting that bag? And celebrating how Tank Davis did the right thing, and we would all do the same like Tank Davis. Are they gonna celebrate Ryan Garcia too? If Ryan gets the fight with Jake Paul, is he gonna get the same energy that Tank got? Are Tank Davis fans gonna celebrate Ryan Garcia for getting that bag? I'm wondering. Because I've seen people, not other fighters for doing exhibitions, but they gave it to Tank Davis. They gave him the flowers. Like, yeah, because he's making a lot of money. And we would all do the same thing, too. Okay, well, the same thing that you said we would all do it, Ryan Garcia is looking like he's going to do it. So I guess you should be giving Ryan his flowers, too. In fact, you should give Ryan Garcia more flowers because he's not going to fumble the bag. He's actually going to go through with it on lace. 7 and 6'5". That's BS. Listen, my peoples. The way that this thing is going to play out, I see Ryan Garcia getting the fight. And remember what I said, too. Remember what I said. Take a look. Take a look at every time athletes are involved in these type of situations. What all these companies do with them. And sponsors. They disassociate themselves. That's how they do it. So, for the people who feel like Tank versus Jake Paul is still happening, I don't know, man. I haven't seen Jake, MVP Promotions, or anybody say a word about the fight happening since. Go get the money. Jake Paul fighting Berlanga. Nah, he wouldn't get in the ring with Berlanga. Nah. Berlanga would be too much for him. He not ready for anybody like that, man. He not. On Lace, the Godfather voice, make him an offer he can't refuse. John Parham, I would think Berlanga make perfect sense, but no exhibition. But that's what I'm trying to tell you, though, that Berlanga, because of his size, it would have to be a real fight. Jake Paul gets away with an exhibition with Tank Davis because the obvious size difference. But you can't do an exhibition with a guy that's your same size. Like, two pro boxers, both in their 20s, and y'all going to do an exhibition, y'all going to look dumb as hell. Y'all going to look dumb as hell. But it's like I said before, my people, Jake Paul carved his own lane in boxing. So you're going to have a lot of options. Replacing Tank Davis is going to be easy work for him. It's probably going to be Ryan Garcia because I just don't see him turning it down. On Lace. Facts. Smith. Ryan lost a Gatorade sponsor when he was only acting crazy. See? Just for acting crazy. And look, he lost a major sponsor, an important sponsor. For the situation that Tank is in, he don't really got sponsors like that. But for that situation that he's in, people are gonna want to move away from him. And it's like I told you, my peoples, I've seen this many times over and over, where a star athlete or a celebrity, any type of celebrity, it could be an actor, a singer, a dancer, whatever. But when a celebrity is involved in the type of situation or has the type of allegations that Tank Davis has on him, yo, people don't want to be involved with that. Jake Paul don't want to show up to a press conference with Tank Davis sitting right there and reporters to start asking Tank, what about these allegations? What about this girl that said that you kidnapped her? He don't want to sit right there because you know what happens? If he's sitting right there, he's going to be the next one to have to answer those same questions in that same pressure. He's going to have his fighters, which are mostly women, have to answer about their boss fighting a guy who's allegedly hitting women. He knows how this plays out. Jake Paul is a media savvy guy. He has a media savvy team. So what's the fix for this situation? Easy. The approach, and all big companies and sponsors do that. Disassociate yourself. Disconnect yourself from the situation. Once Jake Paul announces, oh, look, we moving on. We support women. We don't know what happened over there. We hope they sort it out. But we moving on. And we're not going to address this matter anymore. He's done. He's good. That's it. We're not doing business. We doing business over there. We won't have to keep answering. But if he decides we still going to fight, guess what? He knows and his team know that he's going to have to answer about Tank Davis every single day leading up to the fight. His team is going to, everybody on MVP, when they run into somebody with a camera, they're going to have to answer about that. And trust me, my peoples, somebody who has a squeaky clean image like Jake Paul does not want that type of action. He does not want those type of issues with reporters. Side, it's a bad look for Jake. On Lace, John, I sent them hoes back. Good move, good move. John Parham, how a bad look for Jake? I mean, I don't think it's a bad look for Jake to pull out. I don't think it would be a bad look for him to pull out. It would be a bad look from a lot of people's perspective for him to stay there. That would be a bad look. If people like, damn, Tank involved with that situation and he still... Come on. Yo, look, I want you guys to think about this. Even the women, he got a bunch of women that are signed to MVP. Even those women, whether they do it silently because that's their boss, or whether they do it however, privately, publicly, but those women expect him to do something. Because they, women, they're going to side with each other. Unless you're not like a hardcore Tank Davis fan, you're going to empathize and sympathize with women. So you have a whole MVP promotion who's made up of mostly women. And they're all going to be looking at what decision Jake Paul's going to make. You're going to be looking at it. John Parham, but Tank innocent until proven guilty. Oh, that's facts. That's 100% facts. The problem is that innocent or guilty, the court of public opinion doesn't follow those standards. You see, John Parham, innocent till proven guilty, that's inside of a court of law. But the court of public opinion is going to look at all the different women that levied all these different allegations. They're going to look at that incident in the basketball court and all of these other situations that Tank Davis been involved in with women. And the court of public opinion is not going to use that, that logic that you need inside of a courtroom. In a courtroom, you need evidence to convict somebody. But the court of public opinion, my G, doesn't need no evidence. They've seen enough evidence against Tank Davis to say, yeah, this is what he be doing. So, And again, right now, Tank Davis is not in a situation where he's facing jail time. He's not in a situation where his freedom could be taken away from him. There's none of that. There's none of that. Tank, as far as that goes, Tank is good. He chilling. The real problem comes in when he potentially lost the biggest bag of his career over the same situation that he seems to always be dealing with. That sucks. And it's crazy. But I'm going to tell you guys what could be the silver lining of this whole situation. I'm going to tell you the silver lining of this whole situation. Because sometimes bad things happen, and out of those bad things, good things come up. Good things happen. So I'm going to tell you how this messed up situation can turn into a great thing for everybody, including Tank and everybody else. Watch this, my peoples. John Parham, as they say in the courtroom, he's a repeated offender, a habitual offender, bro. John Parham. So if they cancel the fight and Tank beat the allegation, then what? Big if, but still. So John, if he beat the allegations, as you say, that doesn't mean anything because he's still involved in allegations. That's the problem. For a company to not want to do business with you, you don't have to be convicted of anything. They simply have to see that you have that gray cloud over you and that you keep being accused of this. And that's enough for them to say, nah, I don't want to do business with you anymore. They don't need a conviction. They don't need nothing. Because you're looking at it from that perspective. But what if they decide to go through with it and a day before the fight, Tank Davis punch a chick in the mouth? What then? So they don't trust, at this point, people's not going to trust patients. So it's like I say, a courtroom, inside of a courtroom, you need evidence for a conviction. But the public opinion, we're not trying to convict you of anything. We're just expressing our point of view based on what we've seen. And what we seen, John, what we seen from Tank is not good, bro. It's not good at all. Not good. Is this fight gonna happen? Shit. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see this fight happening, my peoples. And I told you why. When I think about the type of career that Jake Paul has had, we could say he's a YouTuber. We could say he's not a real boxer. We could say that he's not an elite level boxer and never will be. All of those stuff we can say. All of those things. But we can't say that Jake Paul is a guy who'll be getting in trouble. We can't say that Jake Paul is a guy that been involved in controversies or that's been arrested or that's had anything to do with women alleging that he did something to. So what you have to understand is that whether you like Jake Paul or not, this guy has a super squeaky clean image, yo. Jake Paul has a clean image, my peoples. This guy, I said it before, the biggest controversy that Jake Paul has dealt with was snatching Floyd Mayweather's hat off his head. That's it right there. That's it right there. He snatched Floyd's hat. But we never seen Jake Paul involved in anything remotely close to what Tank is dealing with. So I'm telling you right now, when you see people like that, they back away. They say, now wait a minute, I don't want my name to be involved in these type of situations. And remember what I told you guys. It's been about 3 days since the last time Jake Paul posted something. And it was a post promoting the fight. But since this whole shit hit the fan and these allegations and And these reports that he's looking for another opponent, and that Ryan Garcia was sent an offer, all of that, Jake Paul hasn't said a word. He hasn't said a peep. He hasn't come out to say, hey, no, look, everybody's lying. The fight is on. Hey, look. And you guys know that Jake Paul is a very vocal guy. Jake Paul is a guy who's, very active on social media. Since this happened, he hasn't said a word, my peoples. Not one. Ask yourself why. Now I can tell you why you haven't heard from Jake Paul. Yesterday, the day before, today. You know why you haven't heard from Jake Paul? Because they working on that plan B. They working. If they already sent an offer to Ryan Garcia, they drawing up contracts. They working on details. And when you hear from Jake Paul, watch what I'm telling you right now. We're gonna hear from him when he's ready to announce the replacement. That's how he's gonna be able to step away from having to answer a bunch of Tank Davis questions. I don't know if he's gonna do a press conference or a post or what. But it's gonna be we're fighting Ryan Garcia next in December. I don't really know what's happening over there. I don't have any information about that, so I won't be answering any questions about that. We moved on from that fight. We're gonna get something like that, some generic stuff. On Lace, facts. It was like a blessing that they messed up the Z's. I don't think I'm getting them again. Look, man, at the end of the day, Tank Davis versus Jake Paul may have a silver lining. And I'm going to tell you what that is. I really want you to think about this. You guys know that there's a possibility that Tank Davis was going to retire, right? That was a possibility. Well, talk about retirement seemed to have been based on the $40 million that Tank Davis was going to make with Jake Paul. Or maybe he was going to make more, I'm not sure. So based off of all the money he was going to get from Jake Paul, he was not going to retire and enjoy his wealth. Well, if that bag disappears and he's not going to get that bag anymore, well, the talk of retirements may be over. Maybe he'll even end up fighting a big name for a big bag. Because if you're trying to get all those millions, you're not going to get them versus the opponents that you've been fighting. They're going to get 40 million versus Leo Santa Cruz versus Frank Martin. You're not going to get that type of money. So, Tank Davis, based on what's going on right now, may not retire. That's number one. And he may end up fighting some of the big boys to get those big paychecks. Let's see how that's going to play out, my peoples. And by the way, to everybody tuning in, I'm going to share with you right now the link to Box Center 2.0. My peoples, I am dropping exclusive content on this YouTube channel. You don't want to miss it, my peoples. Trust me, I'm giving you this fire. Remember that I'm telling you this. The videos that drop on Box Center 2.0 will only drop on this channel. They won't drop on Facebook. They won't drop on Instagram. They're only going to drop there. So you see it right there, my peoples. I just dropped the link. It should drop soon. So go ahead, my peoples. Subscribe to Box Center 2.0. Promise you, you're going to get that straight up fire content. Salute to everybody tuning in this morning. And let me get y'all opinion. Let me know if you guys think that this fight is gonna happen. Is this fight going to happen? I'm trying to drop the link. I don't know what happened. I'm dropping it in the comments, and for some reason the comment is not showing up. What the hell going on, my people? So I'm about to share this link with you guys. Let me find a different way to do it. And by the way, my peoples, by the way, something else that I wanted to point out, I am gonna be, oh shit, I dropped it in the wrong place. Here we go. Box Center 2.0, my peoples. There's the link right there. Exclusive JSmiff content. There you have it right there, my peoples. Box Center 2.0. There's the link. Subscribe to that channel, my peoples. There's already a few videos that are up. Every video that goes on Box Center 2.0 will only go on that YouTube channel. You will not be able to see it anywhere else. Tap in, my peoples. Now, listen, because we've been talking about Tank Davis and Jake Paul, and that was the main topic of conversation during today's episode of Boxing for Breakfast. But there's something else that we're going to have to talk about, my peoples. And the reason we have to talk about it is because we're getting ever so closer. Ever so close to this fight happening. And I'm super looking forward to it. I still haven't been able to make my prediction. And that is Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. My peoples. I'm super excited about that fight. And y'all could give me your prediction. Who y'all think is gonna win? How you think this fight is gonna play out? But man, I've been struggling with it, my peoples, because I'm watching Devin Haney training to make his welterweight debut. And yo, Devin Haney looks jacked, my peoples. He looks strong. He looks fast. Man, he look like he's ready to go. He look ready, my people. So, you know, it's been real hard for me to predict that fight. Because how do you go against Devin? You know, it's almost like people have this thing where they're just thinking about Ryan Garcia and what happened in that fight. They're not really, you know, considering what Devin has accomplished throughout his career, how good he is. It's all about, Ryan Garcia beat him up and this and that. But yo, I think Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. is going to be a real good fight, man, from both sides. It's going to be competitive from both ends. I really see it like that. Young Guns, I got death by UD. Ooh. Unanimous decision. Let's see, man. Let's see. Because, look, I don't think this is going to be the type of fight that we saw versus Jose Ramirez, for example. Because Ramirez, you know, is more of a flat-footed fighter that's going to keep coming forward, that's going to try to apply pressure. But he just don't have the type of footwork to stay in front of Devin Haney. You know, he just doesn't have it. So Devin was able to simply dance circles around him and put hands on him. But if you remember when Dev fought Lomachenko, it was nowhere near that type of fight. Why? Because Lomachenko is a very athletic fighter. So I think that's a factor right there. You know, you have a guy who has the athleticism and, of course, the skills to stay in front of you and apply constant pressure. So, yes, in the beginning, I was like, Devin got, Brian Norman Jr. is going to knock him out. He's going to knock him out. But as time has progressed, and I've seen some videos from Devin Haney training, I'm like, damn, man, Devin is looking real sharp, man. He looking like he ready to do his own damage. So it's a fight that I am gonna make a prediction, man, but the more I wait, the harder it gets. Young Guns, that straight right hand, jab, footwork, and ring IQ will get him the win. Let's see it, man. Let's see it. John Parham. Cena said if Death stand, fight, and not run, he won't see 5 rounds. Brian Norman Jr. say he's gonna knock him out. Straight up. You see, straight up gonna knock him out. Young Guns, don't be surprised. Devin says Norman on his back pockets. Norman bent down a few times. Yeah, but you don't think Devin Haney is gonna drop him. I'm guessing you don't think Devin is gonna drop him. I'm guessing you don't think Devin is gonna drop him, bro. At least I don't think so. On laser. You know any good? Okay, now y'all on some other shit. Young Guns, Devin straight right hand could. Bro, if you look at Devin's box rack, I don't know. I don't know, bro. Young Guns, I'm not fully sold on Norman Jr. just yet. Damn, my brother, I don't know what's going to take for you to be sold because I'm 100% sold. Brian Norman Jr., my guy, he's the guy at the welterweight division until further notice. The moment Jerome Boots Ennis moved up, it became Brian Norman Jr.'s division. So, I'm telling you, he's the guy, bro. He's definitely the guy. And Devin Haney's trying to take over. You know, that's why from the beginning, myself and a lot of people say, yo, salute to Devin Haney. Because he decided to move up. Let's see how this plays out, y'all. There you have it. Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr., my people. Young Guns, what trainer would you rather have? Bill Haney or Norman Sr.? Norman Sr. Because Bill Haney never boxed. Bill Haney's a gifted son. Mic check, mic check. Let me know if you guys can hear me. My audio acting up, my people. Let me know if you guys can hear me.